when you look at Akol Mawein, this is David Patrick, the new associate head coach. This is his first recruiting win at Arkansas, and really, Mawein is familiar to Arkansas because his junior and senior years of high school, he was at Southwest Christian Academy in Little Rock, and I got to cover him. In fact, the first day that he had a practice with his new teammates at Southwest Christian Academy, I was there for that. But at the time, David Patrick was an assistant at TCU, and it was thought that Mawein eventually would end up at TCU. Fast forward a couple of years, Patrick moves on and becomes the head coach at UC Riverside. Mawein ends up committing to him there, and then Patrick accepts the Arkansas job, leaves UC Riverside as a head coach to be the associate head coach at Arkansas on July 1st. A week later, Mawein decommits, and so really, Alyssa, when you look at the last 4 weeks or so, there was, I was starting to get a source information that Musselman was inquiring about Mawein with local folks here in Arkansas who were familiar with his play, not only with Southwest Christian Academy, but the Arkansas-based Woods Elite during spring and summer grassroots play. And, of course, Patrick stayed on him. They did virtual calls and meetings with him. Mawein was back in Australia after having a really nice freshman season on the junior college level at Navarro College in Corsicana, Texas last year, put up good numbers as a freshman there. But, back home, supposed to be back in late August, but really this was really a fast-track recruitment for Mawein. Is he, 6'9", to me, a versatile combo forward, and he's starting to fit that mold of guys that you're seeing Musselman go after, that positionless where a guy with height is not necessarily a back-to-the-basket or inside player. He can do multiple things, and that's Mawein. Always impressed with him when I covered him at Southwest Christian Academy with his face-up skill for a big guy, but also the fact that he's got a high motor at both ends and a versatile guy, again, as I said. So, I think this is a good move, not only for David Patrick to get on the board and helping Arkansas secure a recruit. This will be also the first JUCO player for Musselman to commit to him, and eventually, assuming Mawein goes ahead and signs as expected in the early period and ends up at Arkansas a year after next and plays, it'll be the first JUCO player that Musselman both recruited and that played for him by then it will be 7 years as a D1 coach for Musselman.
You look at what brought him here, and you mentioned David Patrick, and that was, I'm sure, a big part of the reason why he came to Arkansas, plus his connections in high school. But what was it about the university, about this staff, that really drew him to this program?
Well, again, I think when you look at the NBA experience, when you look at the depth on the staff, this is a big Arkansas staff, not only in terms of their resumes and having experience at the NBA level, whether it's coaching or playing, having experiences, the assistants all really having experience at some level of a head coach somewhere, and on the D1 level when you look at both Patrick and Corey Williams. But also I think when you're selling the kind of versatility that Musselman wants in his lineup, there's freedom in the offense. He talks about that. You don't have to be a stereotypical type of player at a position. You're going to get a chance to do multiple things if you can play. And so I think a guy like Mawein looks at that. He's already got the ties to Patrick. It's obvious that there's a relationship there. Patrick's a native of Australia, and Mawein, originally from the Sudan, moved to Australia, and that's the connection there, is that Australian connection. And we've seen Patrick with Ben Simmons, a big-time player at LSU, #1 draft pick in 2016 NBA draft, Patty Mills, when he was at St. Mary's, when Patrick was at St. Mary's as an assistant, ended up in the NBA, big-time player for the San Antonio Spurs. So, I think there's a traction there from a player from the homeland that sees the success in his recruiting and then looks at Arkansas staff overall. And, going back to Saturday, Chance Moore came to Fayetteville with his dad. Here's a guy that had not been to Arkansas's campus in an official visit capacity, wasn't even able to meet this past weekend with coaches or players in any capacity, but still commit. So I think even with virtual tours, it's not just that they're doing a good job on the phone or face-to-face on Zoom meetings. It's what they can sell. And absent of the ability to go through the full recruiting process, it looks pretty good, and that's why Arkansas's got 2 commitments.
I know you love to compare these guys to kind of put a picture of what these guys' play style is with former Razorbacks. What do you see out of Mawein's game that you like? As a 6'9" forward, is he similar to a guy like Adriel Bailey?
I'm going to compare him more to a guy that we haven't seen yet as a Razorback in Vance Jackson. 6'9", can shoot the three, can put the ball on the deck. There might be some Adriel Bailey. I think there's a good comparison there in terms of the motor at both ends. Adriel was a guy that played really hard, used his athleticism to make plays, and I think you'll see some of that from Akol. Because his motor is high. He gets from end to end, and he plays like his hair's on fire. And really, you want that at any level of basketball. And it's a nice, it's nice icing on the cake when the guy has some skill. He's always been, when I covered him, a good face-up shooter in the mid-range. I think he's expanded that a little bit out past the three-point line. He was close to 33%, taking roughly 2 3-pointers per game at Navarro last year. So it's a great question. What does he bring? I think he brings a lot. He's a guy that's going to go in and battle for rebounds. Last year at Navarro, now he's 13.5 points, 5 rebounds. But I think when you really watch him play, he's a guy that has always got his nose in there fighting for the basketball, and you want those kind of guys. And so that goes back to that comparison to Adriel Bailey for sure.